If he's cheating, you already feel it. You just haven't seen the proof yet. Let's be honest, cheating doesn't come with a confession. It comes in patterns, subtle changes, shifts in energy, words that almost make sense, and that sinking feeling in your gut you've tried to ignore. It's not just paranoia, it's your intuition begging you to pay attention. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on what a man will always do when he's cheating. Not might do, will do. Because no matter how clever he thinks he is, no matter how much he gaslights you into questioning yourself, there are signs he simply can't hide. This isn't just about checking his phone or tracking his location. Cheating runs deeper than that. It's emotional disconnection, behavioral patterns, and a shift in how he shows up or doesn't in your relationship. Whether you're already seeing red flags or just have a quiet suspicion, this video will give you clarity, not confusion. You'll learn the psychology behind cheating, how men change when they're hiding something, and most importantly, how to recognize when your heart is being played. No drama, no fluff, just the raw truth. Because once you understand the patterns, you won't have to ask if he's cheating. You'll know. Let's get into it. When a man cheats, it's rarely just about. That's the part most people get wrong. The truth is, cheating is often driven by something deeper, something psychological. And to understand his actions, you have to understand what's going on in his mind. Some men cheat to escape, not from you, but from themselves, from the pressure of being enough, from insecurities they don't talk about, from the fear of emotional vulnerability. Instead of facing those feelings head on, they look for a distraction. And cheating becomes an easy way to feel powerful, desired, or in control again, especially if they're losing that sense in other areas of their life. Other times, cheating stems from emotional immaturity. These are the men who want the benefits of a relationship, your love, your loyalty, your stability, but they also want the thrill of the chase. They crave novelty. They mistake attention for affection and validation for connection. The second the relationship gets too real, too deep, or too demanding emotionally, they retreat, not with honesty, but with betrayal. Then there's entitlement. Some men cheat simply because they believe they can. They've never been taught real accountability. Maybe they've seen it normalized in their family or friend group. Maybe they think as long as they come home, it's not that serious. These are the ones who say things like, it didn't mean anything, but it always means something to the person being lied to. The psychology behind cheating isn't black and white. It's a messy mix of ego, fear, unmet needs, and sometimes pure selfishness. But what's important to remember is that cheating is a choice, a conscious one. It's not your fault. It's not about being prettier, smarter, or more enough. It's about him and what he's choosing to do with the feelings he doesn't know how to handle. Understanding this doesn't excuse the betrayal, but it empowers you to stop blaming yourself and start seeing the truth for what it is. Because once you see why he's doing it, you stop asking, what did I do wrong? And start asking, why would I ever stay where I'm not respected? Let's keep going. You might ask how his day was, and suddenly the replies turn short. It was fine, just busy, but he used to tell you stories. Now he gives you headlines. When a man starts cheating, one of the very first shifts you'll notice is how quickly he becomes secretive. And it doesn't happen gradually. It's sudden, almost like a switch flip. The man who once shared everything with you, from his schedule to random thoughts in his day, now becomes closed off. You start noticing gaps, little blank spots in conversations, missing details, vague answers. He starts guarding his phone like it holds national secrets. It's always face down. The ringer is always off. He takes it with him everywhere, even to the bathroom. And if you reach for it, even just casually, you feel his energy change. Maybe he flinches. Maybe he tenses up. Maybe he even accuses you of being nosy or paranoid. And here's what's really painful. You begin to feel like a stranger in your own relationship. You used to be included in his world. Now you're locked out, and you don't even know why. You start asking yourself, am I overthinking? But deep down, you know you're not. Your energy has shifted. The openness is gone. There's a wall where there used to be a window. That defensiveness, that shift, that's not love protecting. It's privacy. It's guilt protecting, a lie. You may catch him changing passwords he never used to care about. Suddenly there's a new passcode on his phone, or his laptop needs a fingerprint. He might even start hiding notifications or turning off read receipts on texts. Little things, small changes, but they start to add up. What's even more confusing is that some men who cheat will overcompensate to cover their tracks. They might suddenly become nicer. They might buy gifts, act more attentive, or say, "I love you" more than usual. But it's not real intimacy. It's guilt management. It's calculated, and your gut knows the difference between love and damage control. When someone has nothing to hide, they're not afraid of being seen. They're not afraid of your questions. They're not annoyed by your presence. But when a man is being unfaithful, he needs distance to protect the lie. That distance comes in the form of secrecy. And here's the hardest part. He won't admit it. If you bring it up, he might turn the blame around. He'll say you're being dramatic, insecure, or controlling. He'll gaslight you into questioning your own instincts. But don't fall for that. Silence, secrecy, and sudden changes in behavior are not coincidences. They're signs. And deep down, you already know that if he has to start hiding things from you, he's no longer being honest with you or with himself. Let's move on to the next undeniable sign. There's something incredibly telling about how a man handles his phone. Especially when he starts cheating, suddenly that little device becomes his most prized possession. It's no longer just a tool for texting or scrolling. Now it's his vault, his hiding place, his evidence locker, and he guards it like gold. You start noticing he always keeps it close. Not just close, attached. It goes with him everywhere. The bathroom, the kitchen, even just stepping outside for a minute. It used to lie around freely, screen up, untouched for hours. Now it's always in his hand, always in his pocket, or placed face down where you can't see a single notification. And here's the thing, he'll act like it's normal. But you'll feel the shift, the tension, the sudden nervousness if you're anywhere near it. Try to pick it up, to hand it to him, and he'll rush over to grab it like it's a ticking bomb. That's not privacy. That's panic. That's protection mode. Hear it vibrate, and when you ask, "Who's that?" he gets vague, or worse, defensive. Why do you care? Just work. Don't start with your questions again. He answers without actually answering, hoping you'll drop it. And if you press further, he flips the script. Suddenly you're the problem. You're the one who's insecure or crazy. But let's be honest, you're not crazy. You're intuitive, and he's trying to make you doubt that. You may even catch him being overly cautious, deleting texts, clearing call logs, logging out of apps. And if he's really trying to cover his tracks, he'll start using messaging apps that leave no trace. Things like Snapchat, Telegram, or even secret folders, all signs that something's going on that he doesn't want you to see. What makes this so painful is how it changes the dynamic between you. That phone used to be neutral. Just another device. Now it feels like a war between you and the truth. It becomes a source of anxiety. You start wondering what's on it, who's texting him, and why he suddenly has so much to hide. And no matter how much you try to shake the thought, it lingers. Because the secrecy is obvious, and so is the shift in trust. And in a healthy relationship, that level of secrecy has no place. Let's keep going, because the next sign is just as revealing. Let's be real. A man who's loyal has nothing to fear when you're near his phone. He's not jumping to hide the screen or locking it the second he sets it down. He's not guarding it like his entire relationship depends on it. But when he's cheating, that phone becomes the center of his deception. And the more he protects it, the more you start to see what he's trying to protect you from. There's a subtle but powerful shift that often happens when a man starts cheating. He changes the way he looks. And no, we're not talking about evolving style or growing confidence. We're talking about a sudden intentional upgrade in his appearance that doesn't quite make sense, especially if it's not for you. Maybe he starts wearing cologne he's never worn before. He's suddenly buying new clothes, grooming more often, styling his hair differently. He used to throw on a hoodie and joggers to run errands. Now it's fitted shirts, fresh sneakers, maybe even a chain or a watch, and you're left wondering who exactly is he getting dressed up for. The truth. When a man starts putting extra effort into how he looks out of nowhere, especially after months or years of being casual or comfortable around you, it's not just a glow up. It's a red flag, it often means he's trying to impress someone new. Because when there's another woman in the picture, he becomes hyper aware of how he presents himself, how attractive, confident, and desirable he appears. This change is often framed as just taking care of himself. And he might even say he's doing it for you, but the behavior doesn't align. He's dressing up for places he used to dress down for. He's picky about outfits before heading to work, the gym, or meeting a friend. But when you two go out together, he barely makes an effort. It's not just the clothes, it's the intention behind them. Cheaters don't usually walk around flashing neon signs saying, "I'm being unfaithful." But their habits shift. They start doing things they never used to care about, like hitting the gym more frequently, suddenly caring about skincare, or wearing flashy accessories that don't match their personality. And if you comment on it, he gets defensive. He might act like you're being negative or unsupportive. But the truth is, he knows exactly why you're asking, because you're noticing a change that he can't really explain without exposing himself. And let's not ignore one of the biggest giveaways, new underwear. It might sound trivial, but many women have caught their partners cheating because suddenly he's upgraded his boxers or bought new ones out of the blue. That kind of change isn't just about comfort, it's about presentation. When a man starts cheating, he wants to feel desired again. And whether consciously or not, he knows appearance plays a role in that. So he transforms the external image to match this new version of himself that he's trying to project to someone else. So pay attention, because when the wardrobe changes, but the attention, affection, and effort toward you stay the same or start declining, it's not self-improvement. It's rebranding for someone new. Let's get into the next sign. Things are starting to connect. One of the biggest indicators that something is off in a relationship, especially when a man is cheating, is an abrupt change in his routine. And I don't mean the natural changes that come with a new job or life shift. I'm talking about sudden, unexplained deviations from the pattern you both were used to. When a man cheats, his time becomes divided. He now has to balance two realities: his relationship with you and his interactions with someone else. That balancing act creates cracks. His schedule, once predictable, now starts to feel unstable. He may begin coming home later than usual, with vague explanations like "I got caught up" or "had to work late." But the timing doesn't make sense, and neither do the stories. You might notice he starts making random last-minute plans that don't involve you. He's suddenly going out with friends more often, even though he never used to. Or he starts picking up new hobbies or interests that seem out of the blue and oddly private. He might say he's going to the gym more often, staying out late to unwind, or even traveling for work more frequently than before. But when you ask for details, his answers are inconsistent or rehearsed. You get a lot of generalities, but nothing specific. And here's the thing. It's not just about the time away. It's about how he acts when he's back. A man who's cheating often seems emotionally disconnected, distracted, or restless when he's home. His presence feels off, like his body is there but his mind is somewhere else. Conversations feel forced. Moments that used to be routine, like watching a show together, making dinner, sharing how your day went, suddenly feel skipped or rushed. If you press him on it, he might gaslight you. He'll say you're overthinking it or accuse you of being too controlling. But what's really happening is he's shifting his schedule to fit someone else in, and in doing so, he's pushing you out. You may also catch him being weirdly possessive over certain pockets of time. For example, he may get irritated if you ask to join him for something he used to enjoy doing with you. Suddenly, his solo time is sacred. He wants space more often, but it's not about space, it's about secrecy. And don't underestimate how many cheaters will overcompensate to throw you off. Some might add fake routines like claiming they're starting a new class or project. They might build a completely fictional schedule just to give themselves cover. And you'll notice little inconsistencies, a receipt that doesn't match where he said he was, a timeline that doesn't add up, or a story that changes slightly every time he tells it. It becomes exhausting, not just for you, but for him too. That's why the cracks show. Because living a double life is mentally draining. And sooner or later, the lies don't keep up with the lifestyle. When someone changes their routine, the natural response is to give them the benefit of the doubt. And that's okay at first. But when those changes are paired with emotional distance, secrecy, and inconsistent behavior, pay attention. Because a man who suddenly needs more alone time, but gives you less quality time, is likely giving someone else the energy that used to be yours. Cheating rarely starts with physical betrayal. It starts with shifting priorities, and the schedule tells the story before the words ever do. Let's get into the next sign, because this next one, it hits hard, and it's one cheaters can't fake for long. When a man starts cheating, the guilt doesn't always show up as an apology. Sometimes it shows up as manipulation. And one of the clearest signs you're dealing with a cheater is when he starts gaslighting you constantly. Gaslighting is emotional abuse. It's when someone makes you question your reality, your memory, even your sanity. And a cheating man will use it like a weapon. Why? Because the only way to maintain a lie is to make you doubt the truth. It usually starts small. You notice something that doesn't add up. Maybe a strange text, a change in his behavior, or a weird gut feeling. You bring it up calmly, looking for clarity, not conflict. But instead of reassurance, you're met with defensiveness, dismissal. He tells you you're overreacting, being dramatic, or making something out of nothing. That's not an explanation. That's deflection, and it gets worse. He starts turning your concern into the problem. Now you're the issue. You're insecure. You're crazy. He says things like, "You always do this," or "Why can't you just trust me?" Even when his own behavior is what triggered the doubt. Instead of addressing your pain, he attacks your perception. And over time, you start questioning yourself more than you question him. That's gaslighting. It's designed to keep you confused and emotionally off balance. Because the moment you start doubting your instincts, he gets to keep hiding. But here's what's important to remember. Healthy relationships don't punish curiosity. They don't twist your concerns into character flaws. If a man truly had nothing to hide, he wouldn't need to rewrite reality to make you doubt what you're seeing and feeling. Cheating men often use gaslighting to buy themselves time. Every time you catch something suspicious, they'll spin it. Every inconsistency becomes a misunderstanding. Every lie becomes just your imagination. And soon, you start apologizing just for bringing things up. You walk on eggshells, afraid to speak up, because the emotional backlash feels worse than staying silent. But silence is where the damage grows. Gaslighting also shows up in more subtle ways. He might constantly say, "You're too sensitive," when something he does clearly hurts you. Or he might make jokes that feel like digs, then claim you can't take a joke. These aren't random. They're tactics to undermine your emotional stability, to make you unsure, quiet, and easy to manipulate. And if he's cheating, he needs you in that confused state. Because a confident, clear-minded woman is a threat to his lies. A woman who trusts her intuition can't be controlled. So he chips away at your trust in yourself, hoping you'll stop asking questions and stay. But here's the truth. The more someone tries to convince you that you're crazy, the more likely it is that they're hiding something. Your instincts are not the enemy. In fact, they're the very thing that will save you. So if you're constantly being told you're imagining things, if you feel like you're always explaining yourself, and if your reality feels foggy when it used to feel clear, pay attention, because it's not you, it's him, and he's lying. Let's move on to the next sign, because the mask eventually slips, and when it does, everything becomes obvious. There's a kind of loneliness that hits differently when you're in a relationship with someone who's physically present but emotionally absent. And when a man is cheating, one of the most obvious but most painful signs is emotional detachment. Suddenly, the connection that once felt alive begins to fade, like a light slowly dimming in a room you used to feel safe in. You notice the little things first. The way he used to ask about your day with genuine interest, gone. The way he used to remember the small details, celebrate your wins, or comfort you in your lows. It's like he's checked out. You start talking and feel like you're speaking into a void. He nods, gives half-hearted responses, or worse, he doesn't respond at all. You're met with silence or shallow replies that feel forced and robotic. This isn't just someone who's tired or stressed. This is someone whose emotional energy is being spent elsewhere. And it cuts deep. Because while he may still go through the motions, showing up at dinner, watching TV beside you, even saying "I love you," you feel the absence, the warmth is gone. The tenderness disappears. You start to question if you're imagining it, but your heart knows the truth. Something has shifted. Something is missing. That's what emotional detachment looks like. Cheating creates emotional distance. Why? Because he's now emotionally investing in someone else. Even if the affair is purely physical, it still requires attention, secrecy, and time, all of which pulls him away from you. His guilt may also cause him to withdraw. He knows he's betraying your trust, and instead of confronting it or making it right, he creates distance to numb himself and avoid facing the emotional consequences. And here's what's worse, that emotional detachment often leads to emotional starvation for you. You try harder, you put in more effort, reach out more, ask more questions, plan more dates, hoping to spark that connection again. But instead of meeting you halfway, he pulls away further. And in that silence, you start to shrink. You begin questioning your worth, wondering if you're not enough, if you're doing something wrong, if you've somehow become invisible to the person who once made you feel seen. But emotional detachment isn't about your failure. It's about his choices to hide, to avoid, to betray. When someone is emotionally unavailable, their actions start to contradict their words. He may still say, I'm here, but he doesn't show up for you. He doesn't ask how you're really feeling. He doesn't comfort you when you cry. He doesn't fight for the connection anymore. And over time, the relationship becomes hollow, like living in a house with no furniture. The structure is there, but it no longer feels like home. What makes this sign especially cruel is how invisible it can feel to outsiders. On the surface, everything may still look fine, but you feel the weight of what's missing. You carry the silence. You feel the absence of his heart, even when his body is right next to you. Emotional detachment doesn't always mean he's cheating, but if it's combined with other signs we've already talked about, like secrecy, defensiveness, gaslighting, and sudden routine changes, then it's more than just emotional distance. It's emotional abandonment. And you deserve more than someone who makes you feel alone while claiming you're still a teen. Let's move on to the final sign, because this last one, it's the one that brings it all into the light. So you've seen the signs, the secrecy, the emotional detachment, the gaslighting. It's all adding up. And now you're at the hardest part, deciding to confront him. This moment can feel terrifying. You might be afraid of the truth, afraid of being dismissed, afraid of breaking something you've worked so hard to build. But here's what you need to know. You don't need to confront him in fear. You can confront him in power. Confidence begins with clarity. Before you say a single word to him, get clear on why you're confronting him. You're not looking for validation. You're not begging for answers. You're seeking truth and standing in your worth. The point isn't just to catch him. It's to reclaim your voice. Start by gathering your thoughts. Write down what you've observed, not just what you feel, but what you've seen. Be specific. Emotional detachment, sudden changes in behavior, defensiveness, secretive phone use. When you speak, you want to be grounded in facts, not flustered by emotions. When the moment comes, pick a time when you can both speak without distractions, no phones, no background noise. Look him in the eyes and speak calmly, directly, and with composure. Say something like, I've noticed changes in your behavior, and I'm not going to ignore them anymore. I'm not here to argue. I'm here because I deserve honesty. And then pause. Let the silence speak. Watch his reaction, because often the truth reveals itself in what he doesn't say, how he deflects or how quickly he becomes defensive. A man with nothing to hide will listen. He might be uncomfortable, but he won't make you feel small for asking the questions you deserve answers to. And no matter how he responds, don't let him flip the narrative. If he tries to gaslight you, stay steady. Say, I'm not here to be manipulated. I'm here for the truth. If he gets angry, let him. That anger is a mask for guilt. Do not match it. Keep your power by staying grounded. You don't need him to confess to know what you know. Sometimes the confrontation isn't about getting closure from him. It's about giving yourself permission to stop doubting your intuition. Most importantly, have a plan. What do you want next? Are you ready to leave? Are you seeking couples therapy? Are you open to hearing his side? Know your boundaries before you speak, because in that moment, Emotions will run high, and confidence comes from preparation. You deserve loyalty, you deserve peace, and you deserve a recess where you don't have to become a detective just to feel secure. So if you're going to confront him, do it with strength, grace, and self-respect. Not because you're desperate for answers, but because you're finally done pretending everything is okay when it's not. Let's wrap this up with what you need to remember moving forward, because healing begins the moment you stop tolerating dishonesty. As we come to the end of this video, I want you to take a moment to breathe and really absorb what we've talked about. Recognizing the signs of cheating isn't easy. It's painful, confusing, and sometimes feels like a betrayal of everything you believed in. But here's the truth. Knowing these signs gives you power. It gives you clarity. And clarity is the first step toward reclaiming your life and your happiness. Remember, none of what you're feeling is your fault. Cheating is a choice he made, not a reflection of your worth. You are enough. You deserve honesty, respect, and love that feels real every single day. When a man cheats, it's not about what you did wrong. It's about what he chose to do behind your back. You have the right to demand the truth. But more importantly, you have the right to protect your heart. If you're feeling lost right now, that's okay. Healing is a process, not a switch. It takes time to rebuild your trust, not just in him, but in yourself. Lean on your support system, talk to friends, family, or even a counselor who can help you process your feelings without judgment. Don't isolate yourself. This is a time to be surrounded by people who remind you of your value. And here's something crucial. Don't settle for crumbs. If he's unwilling to be honest and work on the relationship, don't waste your energy trying to fix what he's broken. Your peace of mind matters more than any excuse or apology. Use this experience as a catalyst for growth. Let it teach you how to set stronger boundaries and how to recognize early red flags in the future. Your journey isn't about losing someone who betrayed you. It's about finding yourself and what you truly deserve. You are stronger than you think. You have more resilience than you realize. And the best love story you'll ever have starts with the love you give yourself. Thank you for watching and trusting me with this vulnerable topic. If you found value here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real talk about relationships. Remember, you're not alone and your story isn't over. Keep shining, keep loving, and most importantly, keep putting yourself first.